Buyers have options. There's a lot of homes available for them to see. Sellers should get their home on the market. Be prepared for when they do sell. Hopefully that's kind of a sign of things to come and maybe a shift in the market. Hey, it's Greg and Liz from the Homes Real Estate team, and today we're doing something a little different. We're gonna do a state of the market conversation. Not all the heavy stats, just more of a real conversation about what we're experiencing day to day in the real estate world. What do you think, Liz?
Well, Greg, let's start right away, and let's start with the big picture. What's the number one thing you're noticing right now in the market?
In the market right now, I can tell you it's slow out there. Low sales relative compared to previous years. Certainly the last decade, this year currently is very low compared to even last year. There were more sales, but certainly down significantly from the peak. Buyers have options. There's a lot of homes available for them to see, so they're taking their time and looking at many homes.
If you had to describe the current market in one word, what would it be?
In one word, uncertainty.
Why would you pick that word?
I mean, it's the word of the year, I think, right? I mean, it goes beyond housing. I think it impacts people's jobs. I think people are concerned about what's happening in the overall world. And it's leading right down to their day-to-day purchases, groceries, jobs, obviously big ticket items like buying a home or having a mortgage. It's on everyone's mind. So it's causing everyone to think about what's important and what they want to do, and if now is the right time to buy or sell a home.
Okay. Greg, would you say we are still in a buyer's market, or has it started to balance out a bit?
We are in a buyer's market. In fact, we are entrenched in a buyer's market. We were just doing a home evaluation yesterday, and houses in Surrey are at 12 to 13 months of inventory. That means if no new homes come onto the market, you won't be able to sell the entire inventory until 13 months from now. That's a lot of inventory, and that's assuming nothing else comes onto the market. The only way that changes is if sales start to pick up at a faster pace than homes coming on for sale is at their rate. And right now, that's not happening. All we're seeing is every month, more and more homes pop up, and the sales aren't keeping pace.
What does that mean for people thinking of moving right now?
I mean, it's hard. People who have a place to sell really have to think about what their strategy is. Do they sell first or do they buy first? This is not the market to be buying first in and assuming you'll be able to sell in a relative quick order for a certain amount of price. In fact, it's the exact opposite. In this kind of market, sellers should get their home on the market, be prepared for when they do sell so that they can act. And they have a lot of options once they get their home sold. But that's the case, and that's the environment we're in right now.
Okay, let's talk about what you're seeing day to day. Are buyers actually out there looking again?
Buyers are out there and they're looking at homes, but a lot of them, again, they have a place to sell, and that's the real challenge. It's what we're noticing when we're at open houses or private appointments. The conversation often goes back to us as, is the seller willing to consider a subject to sale offer? So there are a lot of buyers that are on the sidelines and waiting for, maybe more certainty or rates to get better. But there's a lot of people who are looking, but they have a place to sell and they can't do anything until their home sells. So in the meantime, they're looking and seeing what's available for them.
Okay. Would you say that homes are sitting a little longer than they were earlier this year, or are they still moving quickly?
Homes are sitting longer and longer and longer every month that goes on. Right now, detached homes are taking 37 days to sell. Townhomes, 38 days to sell, and condos are taking 39 days to sell. So that's a relatively long time. Certainly, again, compared to 2 years ago or 3 years ago, those numbers are way up. Yeah. And sellers have to expect that when they get their home on the market, they're not going to sell it overnight or in that first weekend. It takes a few weeks. Even value price properties The buyers just aren't rushing out the door to go and see a new home that pops up on the market. They might book an appointment for a week out. So sellers really have to understand it's a bit of a slog, takes longer, and that's just the way the market is happening right now.
Well, that also means that you're going to be having to stage your home for a lot longer too, like always keeping it kind of in a presentable kind of fashion.
This market is tougher for sellers. They have to be ready for a last minute showing. They have to make sure that the dog toys, the cat toys are kind of neatly tucked away.
Kids' toys.
The kids' toys as well, so that if they get a showing, they can act and have it show presentable quickly.
Okay. Greg, what kinds of properties are getting the most attention out there right now? Is it detached homes, townhouses, or condos?
Okay, so right now we are still noticing that the detached house market under 1.2 to 1.3, so basically the entry level detached housing market is still relatively robust, right? It's those larger houses that are over 1.6, 1.7, anything over that. There's fewer and fewer buyers, so that market is certainly softer. But the entry-level houses, because a lot of people in townhomes are looking at this as an opportunity. In a buyer's market, it presents an opportunity. Even though the market is overall declining, if people are moving up the property ladder, there's that opportunity to get a home for less than it was last year. They're making a bigger gain, even though they might be selling their townhome for less. So detached houses in the entry-level kind of range are getting activity, as are two-bedroom and larger condos. So the one-bedroom condos are still really tough. But if you can find a good layout of a two-bedroom condo that's large, 800 to 1,000 square feet, you're going to see other buyers when you're looking at places. So those two pockets are kind of chugging along pretty good.
That's good to know. You're always chatting with buyers at open houses. What's the energy like? Are people cautious or are they ready to act?
Open houses are always hit and miss. You can have a weekend where several groups come through. And in this market, you can get shut out too. It's not uncommon. I say pretty consistently, we're seeing less than 10 groups through. If you got 10 groups through an open house in today's market, you're doing pretty good because, again, there's so much inventory out there. There's just so many more open houses to kind of share between the buyers that are going out and taking a look. And what we're noticing with people who are coming to the open houses is that lack of urgency, right? They're not there right at 2 o'clock. In another market, in a seller's market, you had people waiting when you would arrive at the open house. Not so much anymore. You could be there an hour before groups start to come through because they're going through others. But again, that lack of urgency. So, and again, many home shoppers have a place to sell. So, you know, they're looking, but they're not really ready to act or buy.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so you talk to many professionals, and I'm talking about like home inspectors, mortgage brokers, and appraisers. What are they saying right now?
Okay, well, mortgage brokers, we've been talking to a few of them, and what we're really starting to hear is the investor buyer has really dried up, right? Because I talk to the mortgage brokers and see, well, what kind of pre-approvals are you getting? Who are the people that are getting pre-approved? Are they investors? And the short answer is no. Right now, we're strictly dealing with end user buyers as a whole, right? So that's, first-time buyers, people looking to buy a home for themselves. They're the ones that are pushing this market. The investors, builders certainly are not in today's market. They are doing a lot of pre-approvals out there, but also I talked to another mortgage broker and she said that they're doing a lot more refinancing in deals and not as many pre-approvals as in the past. So they're kind of switching gears, particularly with rates changing and adjusting. It's an opportunity for homeowners to kind of look at their financing and their options.
Okay. Do you find that home inspectors are busy out there?
I talked to a home inspector yesterday, and he said they haven't been this busy in a long time. So that's really interesting, right? And what that signals to me is that there are deals happening out there when a home inspector is busy, right, from day till dusk, and those were the words that he said, is that means that are deals in the pipeline. Now, they're not necessarily showing up on the stats today, But in the coming weeks, right, those deals will, be provided and updated onto the stats. So hopefully that's kind of a sign of things to come and maybe a shift in the market. It's always too soon to tell,
Yeah.
but this is the boots on the ground, conversations with agents, mortgage brokers, home inspectors, all help us paint this picture.
Well, to add to that, what about the appraisers? Are they keeping up with the market changes, or is it starting to stabilize?
What we find with mortgage appraisers or the bank appraisers is that when the market goes up, it goes up real fast, right? And we find that mortgage appraisers have a hard time, right? Especially when people were offering 50, 100 grand over asking, and the appraisal would come in, and there's no comparables for them to say that value was there. So like that was really tough on them. When the market is flat, or where it currently is, where we're seeing prices soften by about 1% a month, it's a lot easier for the appraisal to go through. Buyers are already negotiating generally, a few percent off the list price. So they're getting a better than list price deal. And it's easy. There's enough data out there for appraisers to be able to justify the purchase price for the buyers. So overall, we're not really seeing any issues with bank appraisers right now. They're able to do their job well and get answers for the bank.
That's good.
Hey, we know your attention span isn't long, and we don't want to make this a really long video. So we're going to stop here and have a part 2 coming soon.
Stay tuned for part 2.
And don't forget to subscribe. I'm Greg.
And I'm Liz.
Thanks for watching.